afternoon. Happy Thursday on this holiday December afternoon. Welcome, everyone. I'll give us a few minutes just to let our viewers pop on, but we're really excited to be here for our monthly Ask the Experts edition that we have today. I think this will be a really important discussion, a really interesting discussion. So I'm looking forward to having our guests join us in just a moment. So I'll wait a couple more seconds for those to pop on and watch. Of course, our Ask the Experts is our monthly time that we can get together and speak with those that are experts in their fields about topics that are important to the Unite for Her community. And our focus this month is all about caregivers. So we would love to know, for those that are watching on Facebook, and I'll reiterate this a few times as we chat with our expert guest, but for those that are watching, if you are a caregiver, please let us know in the chat. We would love to know who's with us today. Or if you are one of the Unite for Her community members, maybe you're watching with your caregiver or one of your caregivers, we would love to know who's watching today. So I see a few more people hopping on, so I'll get us started. So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Erin Pellegrin. I'm the Senior Nutrition Manager with Unite for Her, and you are joining us for our monthly Ask the Expert. So our focus today is all about caregivers. So we're speaking with Jackie, who is with Imerman Angels, and she'll be telling us a little bit more about what they do, but they are a very valued partner of Unite for Her. And I think they're offering services that many of us may not be aware they have access to, but really important services that they provide. So you're welcome to participate live and add your questions in the chat as you're watching. We'll certainly be paying attention to that Facebook stream. We already have one person saying a caregiver is watching. Wonderful. So yeah, so if you are a caregiver and you are tuning in, please let us know so we know who our audience is. Or again, if you're a part of our Unite for Her community, maybe you're watching with your caregiver or you'll share our video in the future. We love that as well. So you're welcome to comment, ask questions as we move through the conversation. As a reminder, all of our videos, if you're not able to catch this live, will be broadcast on our Her library. And of course, I cannot forget to thank our sponsor for allowing us to bring this very important conversation to you. Our sponsor for this Ask the Experts is Daiichi Sankyo, and they do so much to allow us to continue to bring education and, again, experts in our field to the Unite for Her community as very important resources. So we're so thankful for that. So without further ado, let me read a little bit about our expert that we have this month. So again, we're chatting with Jackie Herigodt. Jackie, we'll go back to your last name in a moment. I think I got it right. With Imerman Angels. So Jackie has been a caregiver to several loved ones with cancer, including her mother, who lost her battle with lung cancer. She currently is taking care of her sister, who has a diagnosis of stage 4 breast cancer, and she herself is a skin cancer survivor. So these experiences with her own medical journey and as a caregiver to loved ones is really the fuel for her passion with the work that she does with Imerman Angels. She's been with them since 2012, and in her current role as Director of Programs and Outreach, she oversees the Mentor Angels training process, which we will learn a little bit more about together. She was also responsible for the creation of the Outreach Initiative at Imerman Angels, the program that has helped strengthen partnerships with other cancer organizations like Unite for Her and cancer centers to better serve more people who have been impacted by cancer. We love that. Additionally, she's established the Global Ambassador Initiative, made up of volunteers who dedicate their time to spreading awareness about the Imerman Angels mission and pursuing partnership opportunities to ensure that no one faces cancer alone. She graduated from Northeastern Illinois University with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and she's worked in the fields of animal training, love that, we are big animal lovers here, customer service, and education. So that diverse background has really led her be a leader in her field. And without further ado, let's bring on Jackie to our chat. Welcome.
Hi.
How How are
you so
you?
much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, we're so
What an
excited to
honor.
have you. Yeah, this is wonderful and so appreciative of your time and sharing your mission and your knowledge and advice with our community. This is a really important topic, so we very much appreciate it, Jackie.
Absolutely. My pleasure for sure. Definitely an honor.
Absolutely. Good. So I think a great place to start is for those that aren't familiar with Imerman Angels and the
Mhm.
work that you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So, basically, our mission at Imerman Angels is to connect people that are impacted by cancer to someone else to provide understanding and comfort, someone that really gets what you're going through because they've been there, they've done it, they've had that experience. And so, whether you're a cancer fighter, a survivor, a caregiver, a previvor, a warrior, a thriver, there's so many titles, and there's also like people that hate titles. But the point is that if you've been impacted by cancer, we're here to serve you. We want to give you this opportunity to talk to someone else, because I know oftentimes people get a diagnosis or they're with a loved one receiving a diagnosis and they're like, I just wish I had someone that I could talk to that's gone through this. And it's crazy to me to think that people just are not aware of us yet, and I want them. So thank you again for so much for having us on to make it so that they can hear about us, because you don't need to go through this alone. There are people that have had these experiences, and even if it's just one or two conversations, like that could change your whole trajectory of how you feel about what you're about to undergo or what you've already experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you pointed out that you are able to connect not only those with the diagnosis, but those sort of around or you pre-vivers, post, sort of all facets of this health journey. Because I think sometimes when we think of connection, we're thinking of the person going through it, right? But offering that and understanding caregivers have their own sort of experiences
Mm-hmm.
and challenges. And so the importance of that connection and support with others, following suit. I'm glad that you are able to bring that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's essential to really making sure that everybody is getting the support that they need, that they have somebody that they feel understands what they're going through, to really be somewhat like a sounding board, a light in a dark room when that diagnosis comes about, because it does impact the entire family. And, it's really vital that they feel that they have support no matter what role they play in someone's diagnosis.
Yep. Yep. That's wonderful. So if those that are wondering, and again, if you're watching, you're a caregiver, let us know. We would love to know who our audience is, or if you are the patient and you want to share this with your caregiver, let us know, so that Jackie makes sure that she shares appropriate to our audience. But we would love to see who's watching. Now, for those that may be wondering, oh, I do take care of a family member, but it's like not my full-time gig, or I don't, or maybe I just stop in. What is a caregiver? Like, what makes a person be a caregiver? Are there different types?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for asking that too, because again, with titles, right? So that sometimes is a icky thing for people. Some people don't like that. Some people are not aware of it. But for marketing simplicity of like just trying to figure out, where do I go? What do I do? Who am I? That kind of thing. Sometimes we have to put some kind of titles around that. So the caregiver title, for us at least, is really about anybody that has had a loved one, a friend, going through the cancer experience, and that they themselves are being impacted, because I'll give an example. Like, when I was 13, that my grandmother was diagnosed. She was like my second mom. And granted, I didn't take her to the hospital. I was 13, right? But in our opinion, that is a caregiver, because she impacted my life so much that, our daily experience, our daily journey together was now not the same. And cancer did that, right? So in our opinion, I would be a caregiver still, even though I'm not driving her to the hospital, or I'm not giving
Mhm.
her medicines at 13, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Whereas like even with my aunt situation, my aunt was diagnosed. I lived in another state away from my aunt, but my aunt was very close to me, and I flew back and forth to see her when she was going through her treatment. And again, in that situation, you're considered a caregiver. I have very many friends that they are considered the caregivers to their other friends going through cancer, because you know it impacts you in so many different ways, this diagnosis. And whether you're the fighter or survivor, your life is changing because of it, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the scenario. But the point is that you're getting impacted. And so we want to support that person and how their emotions and feelings about the situation are changing, and how we can better have somebody there that's been there, done that, and can talk about it.
Wow. And in your network, if you have sort of maybe that person that isn't that primary, that isn't giving the medications, taking to the
Mhm.
appointments, but playing a part in their treatment and just sort of healing process, you're able to connect them with others.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll have
Yeah.
people that are like the daughters, the siblings, the brothers, the aunts, the grandparents, the grandchildren, um, this obviously the spouses, the partners, all of that, because again, it's just so impactful. And we need to make sure that we're supporting everybody. And it's not our role to say like you don't count. Um, so one thing too that I would like to say is, like, in this regard, as far as Imerman Angels is concerned, we don't really consider the paid services. So some people call caregivers, somebody that's paid to
Yeah.
be there. That's a different situation, because it's not familial, or it's not like a loving
Right.
necessarily
Right.
relationship. So there
It's a
is a
different
difference
dynamic.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so for those that uh, are mentors in your organization, are those that are sort of accepting those caregivers to come in, or could you explain a little bit about the mentor portion of your mission?
For caregivers?
Yes.
Sure. So being a caregiver mentor is
Mhm.
really similar to all of the other parts of the program of being a mentor. You just have to be someone that's been there, done that, gone through the experience, being emotionally, and that is a huge part, capable of
Yeah.
giving back and talking about the experience, and really being that empathetic listening ear, to give that compassion back to someone else that's now newly going through it, or has gone through it, and just wants to talk about, like, okay, I was really frustrated with my loved one because they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't listen to me. They, got angry with me, whatever the case is. And then
Mhm.
this mentor can say, you know what, I dealt with that as well. And these are the feelings that I had as well. And I understand what you're going through. So it's very like validating the person's feelings, which can
Mhm.
always be useful. And then also saying, are you open to hearing what I did? Like, this is what I found that was helpful. And I wish somebody would have told me this earlier, or this is something that I did that I wish I would have known. And,
Yeah.
nobody directed me. Nobody gives you a guidebook on how to become the best caregiver in the
Yeah.
world. Right. So this is kind of a virtual opportunity to be a caregiver mentor in a way of speaking and emails and texting and phone calls. So like all the different ways that somebody would want to connect with someone else, you have that opportunity through this program, and it's free.
That's wonderful. And it's free. I love that. And it sounds a lot like our ambassador program at Unite for Her. It's those that have been through our program, diagnosed, but turn around and say, I want to be an ambassador for those that are now joining. I want to help guide them. And so sort of following that same foot, for those that are caregivers and being able to pay it forward. What a wonderful thing to offer.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
what I always say to people is it's this hidden gift. a gift that you don't expect to get out of being a mentor is, you go through these experiences and you're able to turn something negative into something positive. And, maybe when you decide you're going to give back, you think, well, I'm just going to give back because this is kind of like my responsibility. But what people don't understand is the gift that it gives you. And so I can say literally every single time that I have been a mentor, I have learned stuff about myself and my experience that I didn't even know that I knew. Right. It like just comes up and then I'm like, whoa, like I did experience that. Wow, I guess I'm stronger than I thought I was, or, I have experience with that and I didn't even realize it. And there's some triggers there, of course, but like, it's also things that you can always continue to work on and learn about yourself. And that's so powerful to be a better you. Right.
Yeah. Can you speak a little bit more about the importance of connecting and why we really want to encourage caregivers to reach out, maybe even from the get-go, like get connected, get that support from the start? What are the benefits of that?
Yep, absolutely. This is such an important question. So thank you for asking that. So a lot of times, especially historically, people didn't recognize that we helped caregivers, right? Because the caregivers always take a back seat, which makes sense, right? So they're like, take care of the patient, like that person's first. And I get it. Everybody gets it. But here's this, listen to these words, because as a previous caregiver, I went through this exact situation. So I know with my mom's experience, I remember my daughter was like 3 months old and we lived in California. My mom lived in Chicago when she was diagnosed. And the flight attendant, she said, okay, this is what's going to happen. The air mask is going to come down and you're going to put it on yourself and then you're going to put it on your loved one. And this is the analogy that has been used over and over again about the support that a caregiver needs, right? So my instant reaction is, I have my 3-month-old baby here. There's no way that I'm putting this air mask on me first. I'm of course going to take care of her first, right? Then in reality, if I don't get the air that I need, that oxygen, that support that I need first, I am not going to be strong enough to hold that mask on my baby and give her the oxygen that she needs. So now reflective, understanding this whole situation a whole lot better, it is vital that the caregivers get the oxygen first. Take that mask, put it on yourself, get that support that you need so that you can be the best caregiver to the loved one, depending on your strength, right? Depending on your clarity, depending on your being the best caregiver that you can be, right? And you can't do that alone. And why should you when a program like this exists? It just doesn't make any sense, right? So there's that guilt factor of people feeling like I'm only the caregiver, I don't need the support. That is not true. Like you can benefit from these conversations in more ways than you know. Get the guidance. Why not, right?
Yeah. I love that. What an absolutely perfect analogy. Totally puts things in perspective. The importance of starting off, and someone can connect with you at any point along, the light bulb may go off, or maybe they feel like they don't need that support, but 6 months in, they're like, I need it. So at any point, or if unfortunately they've lost their loved one and they haven't connected, are they still able to reach out to Imerman Angels and build that connection?
Absolutely. Yes. Boy, you're good with these questions, I have to say. So yes, anywhere along the journey, wherever you feel like you can receive guidance. Of course, we'd rather, and we hear this way too often, is start from the beginning. And people will say like, I wish I would have known about you when, right. So that's where like these conversations are so important, is spreading this awareness. So you can start right from diagnosis with us, or you can go all the way throughout the journey. And again, like, unfortunately, when I was going through my experiences, I didn't know about Imerman Angels. And so that's why I'm so passionate about making sure that people know, because I know the isolation and I know what it looks like to not have somebody to, talk about these feelings and get the guidance and, the tips. So what I'll say is like, it was so important for me to become a mentor, to be able to share that information that I wish I didn't have. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But now that
Mm-hmm.
I have it, like, why not make it go for greater good and help
Absolutely.
someone else so that they're not stumbling in the dark, that they know that they have support there when they need it. And the beauty of the program is exactly that. It is support there when you need it. So if you decide you only want to talk to somebody once, twice, like throughout the entire journey, at the latter part of the journey, like wherever you want it,
Mm-hmm.
mentors there to
Mm-hmm.
support you when you need it and how you need it, like phone, email, text, sometimes in person. That one I like to be a little bit hesitant about because, it's never a guarantee. But the point is that like we try to meet the support seeker where they're at.
Yeah. I love that. Oh, I love that. And they can really personalize and make it as
Exactly.
engaging or as needed as a person needs to. Now, if someone is interested in becoming a mentor, right? They realize the importance of this, but they're sort of like, I'm not really sure. Is there training for a person on your behalf that may want to be part of it, if they want to become a mentor, just so they have, sort of, they feel confident in that, okay, I want to make sure that I'm giving sound guidance, or that, they're just sort of working in a responsible manner. Do you offer that as well?
Absolutely. So obviously the bulk of the training is their own experience. We cannot, nor would I want to, train on this experience, right? And then what we do is we also have an assessment over the phone. We talk about do's and don'ts. We are a global organization, so we are in over 105 countries. We have nearly 13,000 mentor angels, both caregivers and survivors, and I should include previvors too, so that are around the world giving back the support. So we do a virtual guidebook, and we do a virtual mentor angel training video, which interacts with you, and you can take quizzes, and then you actually get a certificate at the end. You could frame it, put it on your fireplace. It's super cool. Tell your friends, show it off, be like, look what I got today. Oh, here, better yet, look what I got today.
I love that.
One Imerman Angels organization. So
little plug. I love it. Well, and Mary asked, how do we get in contact with Imerman Angels? And we will be sharing the link for their website in the chat. So we'll be sure to put that in there. But how can someone get in contact with you, Jackie?
Sure. So we are still working remotely, I will say. So the best way to do it is online. If you have access to www.imermanangels.org is the best way. You would go in, and depending on what you're looking for, requesting support or becoming a mentor, you would go into the different categories. The website kind of walks you through that. That is the best way. If you do not have access to a computer, you definitely still can get a hold of us at 877-274-5529. You can leave us a voicemail, and we will get back to you within 2 business days. And so thank you for putting that information up. So so those are the multiple ways. We also have all the social media outlets. You could feel free to reach out that way. I would be more like, it would be better to reach out these 2 ways, but we definitely have people reach out social media too.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Yep. We have the chat and the phone number for those that are interested. And for those that hopped on, just again, we're here with Jackie Herigodt of Imerman Angels, talking all about caregivers today. In your experience, both as a professional and as a personal caregiver, what are some of the common challenges that you hear from a caregiver? What are some of those questions or concerns that they are coming to you with?
I think that there's a few that come right to mind, right? So some I had already mentioned, meaning like that guilt of like, I'm a caregiver. I'm not going through this experience. I don't need support. Not true. And so, just making sure that people understand that, you can have that hand holding virtually, that support that you need. Because sometimes there's just stuff there that you don't even know that you don't know. And having this person that's already go through it, and shed that light is just, it's a life-changing experience. And, you can gain a new friend out of the deal, or not. And so it's so beneficial to just find out. And I always say, it's better to have the resource and turn it down, right?
And to not know that you had it.
Exactly. Yep. So I think that that's really important. I would say also for caregivers that, and going through this again, I know this to be true, is delegation, right? So what can I do for you? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And you're like, nothing. Or I don't know, because it's so overwhelming to even start to think about that. There are so many apps and websites and resources out there that really help it, so that you can navigate through what you're going through, but also have those delegations, so that you can actually help support your loved one and concentrate on that first and foremost, and have the extra stuff taken care of by these people that really want to support you, right? So getting the groceries, making you dinner, taking the dog for a walk, taking the kids to school, whatever the case is, those other things that are obviously important and need to get done. But at that time, you need to focus on the person going through the cancer, right? And you just can't do everything. You cannot do everything at one time, nor should you, right? Because there's these people out there that love and want to give back. So I would say that don't feel like you have to do it all on your own for so many reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you mentioned that. And that's also a point that I will often recommend, just chatting about nutrition, saying when people are in your life and they're saying, Jackie, what do you need? What can I do? We offer a fabulous cookbook in their box. And I say, listen, if things look good in that cookbook and you have people that are asking, what do you need? What can I do? Say, I love that. This would feel really good to me. I think my family would love it. Could you make this for me? Just a little. I feel like those that are reaching out to help you just need a little guidance, just need a little bit of direction. But you're right. Delegation is very hard.
It is
a lot of us,
you're overwhelmed and you're like, I don't even know where to start. Right. So that's where taking time and, again, not everybody has access to the apps, or websites or what have you. And I understand that, but if there's an opportunity to have that set up, it's really helpful. Or just write a note even of the to-do things, write it on a piece of paper and say I need groceries. I need, the dog walk. I need whatever. And then give it to somebody and watch them jump to the occasion of really supporting you, because they're looking for that. They're looking for ways. If they're asking, that means they really want to help. And why not take advantage of it? Because again, you shouldn't be doing this all on your own. What you're doing is taking time away from the person that needs your support. You don't need to go grocery shopping. Somebody else can do that for you. You don't need to walk the dog. Somebody else can do that. But do you need to be with your person going through cancer? Yeah. That's what you should be doing. And also taking care of you, the self-care element, right? Doing all the stuff that you need to do, get some respite for yourself, even if it's a nap, there's just so much going on, and you need to make sure that, you take advantage of those helping hands.
Yeah. I was going to say, and that can even be something to delegate as well, delegating some time so that you can step away. You can take a nap. You can have quiet time. You can't, fill in the blank, whatever it is, but that can also be a point of delegation.
And there's that gas mask, right? If you are not strong, both being enough, well rested, right? Or well fed.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to be the best you. Let's not pretend about it, because it's just the facts. I'm not stating anything that's this random thought, and it, right? So you just need to be told, I'm telling you from previous caregiver and current caregiver, like make sure that you're taking care of yourself and don't think that you are taking away from your loved one. You're actually helping your loved one by staying strong and being the best version of you for your loved one.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said staying strong, because I think some of us may feel that that's a form of weakness, you know, that not being able to get it all done, check all the boxes is a form of weakness. But asking for help, and I've heard this as well, is actually a sign of strength. And
Absolutely.
saying, I can't do this on my own. I need the help. If you're willing to help me, this would be great if you could do that. I love that you said that.
I know it to be true, being in this scenario so many times, and having the capability of reaching out for support versus not reaching out for support, just like feeling like I don't know where to begin, and then having the opportunity for people to help, and then being the person to help other people. I've been in all facets of this situation now, and I can say that having somebody there to support you no matter what part of this stinking journey that we can go through with cancer, right? Is so beneficial, and it really does change your trajectory, and having that, go into, this strength and this like support, no matter what it looks like for you. And that's the beauty of it. Like specifically with like Imerman Angels, you get to choose how often you want to talk to somebody. You get to choose what topic you want to have, where your concerns are. And so, if you just need resources, like talk to somebody who's already gone through that, of like, what did they use, that kind of thing. So, and how you communicate, right? So like, sometimes people are taking care of people and then they also have a full-time job. Well, what does that look like? Balancing all that. Do you think I have time to talk on the phone? No, I don't, but I do have time at 2:00 in the morning to send a mentor an email asking questions, right? And so we have the capability to provide that to people. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned a couple times also that there are apps that are resources, because I think sort of that smartphone technology speaks to some of our audience, and that really speaks to you. It's good to know that, okay, we've got access to that, but we have a place to go to learn about what is available to me.
And if you come to Imerman Angels, and I'm sure y'all do this too, because, Unite for Her and Imerman Angels work so lovely together. We have this great.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And this is not the last of Jackie, I will say. I'm sure we will have more things coming up in the future. This is not the last of her.
But I mean, we also work with other organizations, and we can refer you to those organizations that help navigate and delegate, and that are so important and vital to make sure that, like, you can have those opportunities to provide somebody a what to do next, so I think that's really cool. And something too that, like, I feel is really important to talk about is this pre-Viver conversation. I don't know how much you guys talk about, but these people are people that are predisposed to receive a cancer diagnosis by a genetic mutation. And so these people we do have in our database, because if you think about it, oftentimes they have been caregivers. They have watched people go through this experience, and now they know what is a potential for them. So, really, I always like to point that out, because I think that that's a very unique scenario to be in as well.
Absolutely.
And so it's really important for people that are out there that are pre-Vivers to understand that we could support you as well. And those people that are caregivers and they are like, well, I lost my loved one, and now I'm like no use to anybody else for volunteering, because they don't, like, nobody would want to talk to me. Not true. We definitely have people who reach out, who want to talk to people who've lost their loved one, who want to talk to people that have experienced end of life. And, like myself, planning a wake, planning a funeral. What does it look like after you no longer have the staff at the hospital interacting with your daily routine that you got so used to for so long? Now that's all taken away. What does that look like, right? Financials afterwards. So all of this can be supported by somebody else that's already gone through that, but it can't if we don't continue to oil or put gas in the fuel of our tank, our vehicle, by getting more caregiver mentors that have had these experiences.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Pretty significant. And with so much genetic testing and so much
Right.
talk about the genetic world and
Yep.
and understanding what does my genetic makeup look like,
Mm-hmm.
just to know that there are others, because the genetic portion of this diagnosis is a smaller percentage, but that makes it more difficult to connect with others
Right.
that may understand how a person may be feeling. Well, here we are.
Yeah. And just like imagine the anxiety.
Oh, I could not imagine the anxiety.
And
Like,
that's why it's so important.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
my, and going back to that importance of connection. So, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Good. So we've got a lot. We've got, again, depending on who's connecting, who's watching, who's here with us, we've got something for everyone essentially.
Yeah. And I think too, I mean, you guys primarily focus, in one area with breast cancer, right? So, emphasizing that Imerman Angels does not. We help all cancer types,
Okay.
all ages, all stages, anywhere in the world. So, just, putting that out there for any listeners, any caregivers, they're like, oh, this is a great program for, breast cancer caregivers. Nope, that is not the case. Obviously, we do help breast cancer,
Of course.
but all cancer types, all ages, all stages, anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because, unfortunately, cancer diagnoses are all around us of all types. And caregivers come along with that. So it's good to know that, yes, we do breast and ovarian, but you're covering all the different areas, which is wonderful. So excellent. Okay. So just to wrap up, if there are a few suggestions or just a few tips for the caregivers that are either watching now, that may be watching, in the future, just some steps to get started, what would you recommend?
Let's see.
Which is a
First thing is breathe.
I understand.
So loaded. First one is take a really deep breath because it's so much, and just realize that you need the support. You need to take a step back for a moment, let it sink in of what's happening because it's a lot, and understand that you're gonna need rest. You're gonna need direction. You're going to need support. You're going to need all these things. And you just need to first remember that the breath is with you and you can control that. And that's I know it sounds silly, so I breathe all the time. But in reality, it really does change your whole perspective. If you're not taking deep breaths, you're not thinking straight. So start with that. Then make a plan, talk to people. Make a plan of what makes most sense, get other people involved. I know there's this whole thing about don't talk to people about your business. Well, you might need to in this regard because you really need that support. And again, don't do it on your own. Remember self-care, remember to eat, remember to drink, remember to rest, remember to delegate, take lots of notes, journal. I highly recommend journaling. Because that's a really great mindful way to think of things, be a part of it. And also for memory sake, you may or may not want that, but I have some journal notes that I took from my experiences, and I'm grateful that I have them now because it was stuff that people said to me while going through their journeys that I will forever be grateful that I have that written. So I would say, and I've reached out to Imerman Angels, if I didn't say that, what the heck? But, get that mentor. And even if it's not Imerman Angels, find somebody that you can talk to, being genuine here, just find somebody that you can talk about how you're scared or you're frustrated or you're feeling crazy or you just need some direction or am I thinking straight about this? Any of that, you really could be set in a better direction if you have that. Yeah.
I love that. So really, really valuable tips for sure. And as I said, all joking aside, this is not the end that you will see of Jackie and Imerman Angels. I mean, they have truly been a very valued partner, and Unite for Her, Jackie, as I said before we went live, we're really leaning into the caregiver discussion and bringing them as part of all of this, and really thinking on our end, what else can we do to support, just to make them be a part of it. You know, we whenever we can, in our cooking classes, we always say, bring your caregiver, bring your family, bring your support. Who loves to cook? We'd love to have them. They're part of the discussion. But we're really leaning into that. And so we are so grateful to have you as a partner and for spending your time with us. And it's definitely something that we want to continue sharing and continue bringing to the forefront, because it's important. It really is.
It's so important. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. And I just want to piggyback off of that and just say thank you. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing. You guys are remarkable. We see so many referrals from y'all. So I know that you're, putting in the work and you're spreading the word, and just, for everything that you're already doing, aside from sending people to us. Your, organization and your mission is so powerful. And I'm so grateful to you guys, for sure.
Oh, thank you. It's a team effort, I tell you. It's
right?
A team
it really is.
Honest to God.
It really is.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Jackie, this has been an amazing discussion. You brought up such wonderful information. I think just the few tips to leave just to get our community started on is a great place to begin. But again, they are a truly valued partner. ImmermanAngels.org is the place to go for more information, or if you are looking to reach out as a caregiver or even as the patient, if you're looking to connect and build that support, it's a great place to start. We have a phone number there if you prefer to call, if you don't have access to the internet, but we definitely recommend connecting and just growing that support network that we have. So Jackie, thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate your time.
An honor, for sure. I wish you all wealth, for sure. Like, just be healthy and happy. That's what we want, right? So,
yep, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching today for our Ask the Experts. Again, big thanks to our sponsor, Daiichi Sankyo, for allowing us to bring these monthly educational series to talk about incredibly important discussions like being a caregiver and how to care for yourself. So be on the lookout. We have these every month. We have our calendar set for January. But in the meantime, we hope everyone, as Jackie said, stays happy, healthy, enjoys the holiday, has a wonderful new year, and we will see you next time.